Hi, welcome back to part 2 of the survival guide for dealing with narcissistic family dynamics. And I hope that you checked out part 1, and I think that provided a nice foundation of a lot of characteristics as well as issues that come out of growing up in that narcissistic family environment. And certainly growing up with narcissistic parents is not easy. It is a fallacy that narcissistic parents breed narcissists. That is not the common case. Actually, children of narcissistic parents tend to be quite different. And we're going to discuss that in this video and how you can help yourself if you're a child of a narcissistic parent. If you haven't seen part 1, you may want to go back and check it out before you dive into this one, as I explored the environment and family rules and messages and how they were exhibited and displayed. But let's get into part 2. Like, share, and subscribe, and here we go. Let's get into it. Adult children of narcissistic parents tend to have the following personality characteristics, beliefs, and views to different degrees, right? Everybody's not the same. I'd like you to go and get a piece of paper or something you can mark off how much these characteristics, beliefs, and views are a part of you. Now, as I go through each of these, rate them from 0 to 5. 0 being nothing like me, and 5 being absolutely like me. Okay, so you ready? All right, so you get your piece of paper or wherever you're going to write it down. Okay, you're going to mark these characteristics from 0 to 5, right? How much they are like you, these different characteristics, beliefs, and views, how much they are like you. The first one is self-sacrifice. The needs of your parents and others are more important than your own. So you sacrifice your own autonomy and independence to cater to others. 0 or 5. How about self-blame? And this is where you tend to sacrifice your self-esteem and blame yourself when things go wrong to keep things quiet and peaceful, even if it has nothing to do with you, even if you didn't cause it or anything like that. You just take the hit for everyone else. Self-blame, 0 to 5. How about buried by guilt? So guilt was a tactic often used to get you to comply with your parent or caregiver while you were growing up. Now, there's always a degree of this, in a lot of families and stuff like that. But this is really intensive guilt. This is, that, oh my God, if you don't do this, I'll die, or we'll be homeless, or, this, like these intensive outcomes, right? That you're just buried by the guilt, that it's all on you, okay? To determine the fate of the family or of that narcissistic parent or of that individual, of the circumstance. Next, the compulsive caretaker. This is to lessen the anxiety you feel associated with your own needs. You put them aside and you take care of others. All right, that compulsive caretaker, 0 to 5. How much is it like you? Next one is conditional approval. Right? When you make a mistake, you expect love to be withdrawn quickly and to receive rapid and intense punishment or to be dismissed altogether, right? Any mistake is the ultimate mistake, right? So you are completely, you are just canceled out, right? I hope I'm using that right. Cancel culture, right? Canceled out, okay? 0 to 5, conditional approval. Next one is perpetual perfection. You must present a veneer of love, success, and happiness at all times. You always must show that. It has to be perpetual perfection. How much do you carry that? Or is that like you? 0 to 5. All mistakes and all consequences. Mistakes will cause others to see you as broken and unworthy. Now, you expect to be blamed and receive the consequences for even minor mistakes that may or may not involve you at all. All mistakes and all consequences fall on you. All about you, right? And that's because you're broken and you're unworthy, and that's why this happens, right? You become the family crucible. How much is that like you? 0 to 5. The next one is gratitude giver. You build your life as a meaning of showing your parent or caregiver how grateful you are and to build their self-esteem and worth. Any act of self-care is felt like a selfish betrayal and causes intense anxiety unless you can identify someone else to reap the reward or gratitude. You can't have it. It has to be something external, right? How much is that like you? 0 to 5. What about internalized narcissism? This is you never get what you deserve. Others have it easier than you do, and others do not understand or appreciate your situation and experiences, right? You learned narcissism from your parent or caregiver, and you saw that it worked. So you use these tactics growing up and continue to use them in your current relationships. How much is that like you? 0 to 5. What about hero or zero? You or another family member can do no wrong in your parents' eyes, right? While the other family member can do nothing right and is riddled with ineptitude. Hero or zero? How much is that? Is that like you and your perspective? Do you hold that perspective of others, right? How much is that like you? How much do you utilize that hero or zero viewpoint or perspective or belief? 0 to 5. How about that need to be needed? You need to be needed by others to have a sense of worth. You are most comfortable in relationships where you give, and appreciation or reciprocation causes anxiety and disinterest. So you have to constantly be in this relationship where you put out, and you're constantly putting it out there. It's that need to be needed. And it becomes this sort of self-fulfilling cycle. But the problem is that people can't keep that up for very long, so they kind of get burnt out and it becomes really, really problematic. Causes a lot of codependency in relationships that are really, really problematic. How much is that like you? From 0 to 5. So the next one is emotional minimization. You tend to minimize your own feelings, thoughts, opinions, and values because growing up seen as valuable or they were dismissed, right? Emotions aren't important. Come on, right? How much is that like you? 0 to 5. The next one is dirty competition. Competing opens you up to ridicule and pain, right? And winning is very uncomfortable and feels very wrong. You learn to feel that competition is unhealthy and can harm you as opposed to driving you to do better. You don't have the worth to compete and succeed, so you contend with it. How much do you hold that value and belief? 0 to 5. What about diffuse boundaries? You are uncomfortable setting and holding firm with your boundaries. Growing up, your parent or caregiver, they dismissed your right to privacy in your own space. You learned that you were not valued enough to have your own space. In turn, you feel uneasy, kind of asserting your wants and needs, and you're uncomfortable telling others what you will and will not tolerate. So it's those diffuse boundaries. People aren't quite sure, right, what you're comfortable with, what you want, what you need. But sometimes the expectation is that they'll just know. And that usually ends up with you being disappointed. So how much is that like you? 0 to 5. So that's our list, right? So when you look over your ratings, take notice of those that you rated with a 4 or a 5. Now, these are likely to be some pretty intense traits that influence how you live your life and how you see yourself and others. Now, you can get control over these things and do it differently. You're not stuck on this same hamster wheel, right, going round and round and round. Because please remember, we're all different in how our environments impacted us. This is why it's so important to understand what makes up our personality, beliefs, and views, so we can grow and develop from that knowledge. That's the purpose of these videos. That's why it's so important, right? Remember that knowledge is empowerment. And finding a mental health provider who can help you not only identify when these traits get activated, but also build up adaptive skills to manage them more effectively. Never stop growing and believing in yourself, right? I believe that we can all set course of our life with the knowledge to change our lives into what we want it to be. And I really genuinely believe that. And I hope that you found value in this. I hope that you found it enlightening, interesting, and empowering. So please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I appreciate your time and attention. Please leave comments, perhaps which ones are most intensive for you and how you dealt with them and how you deal with them to overcome them so they're not as impactful in your life. So please like, share, and subscribe, and please take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.